Test. There we are. What's going on, guys? Let me see here. Good evening to everybody out there, and morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. Let's see. Man, you guys are all jumped on board already. Awesome. Ricardo's here, Pyramid 1974, Nacho Libre, Philip Wellington, Renee Van Asterhout, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please forgive me if I'm not. Heinrich Mittner. Let's see, the True Blue. G White 713. What's going on, everyone? Good to see everybody in there. Let's see. John over in Cleveland, Ohio. What's going on? Leonardo Wilson from Brazil. Welcome to tonight's chat. Actually, it would probably be morning time for you. We're pretty darn close if it isn't. Germany's in the house. What's happening? Well, we got all kinds of people up in here tonight. Awesome. You guys are awesome. Let me see. I got a couple articles you guys got to love. Oh, man. One of them is just like figures, right? And the other one is actually news. And I'll share that with you in a little bit here. That's kind of funny. Pyramid 1974, starting early. Don't want to interfere with the GOTs, right? Yeah, exactly. Hate to have that happen. Philip, you said something about have you ever took a look at the tower on the moon? There's actually several. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but some of them have seen like these really, really long towers, and some of them seen like multiple towers in one area. So I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but I've seen a few of them, and they are pretty wild looking. What is that? Hold on a second here. Made a mess out of my bench here earlier. I don't like that. Can't get my hand to move over here. All right, we're good. The True Blue, where are you? I'm over here in the tri-state area, over here in West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. Oh, let's see. Get us more on me instead of over there. All right. Not sure if I'm going to pronounce that right, but Vedika Sharma, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Hello, how are you? Heinrich Mittner, NASA has found something on Mars. Have they? I haven't seen that yet. What'd they find? Anything good? N62 BMW. Hi. What's happening? Good to see everybody in there this evening. At least my evening. Hello to Renee over in Holland. I like that. Nacho Libre. Everybody running, grabbing bear and chips. Let's not do the bear. I'll probably pass out right here on the mic. That would be good. We'll just go with the old-fashioned H2O. Good old-fashioned H2O. Which reminds me, one of the every now and then my daughters will send me something that they think is either completely laughable or some things that are serious that's got to do with NASA or whatever. And I hate even mentioning them, but it's got to be some kind of, it's got to be a trip or something like that. It's got to be a gaffe on this site or something like that. But it says flat earthers claim that Australia doesn't exist and the people who live there act as paid by NASA. Now that one there, I almost died laughing. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'll give you the link. I swear the whole site is like satire or some just joking. I don't know what it is, but took a quick look at it, almost died laughing here. I couldn't help it. I was like, where do these people come up with this garbage? Good evening there, Paul. What's going on? Let's see. Oh, okay. Video is called There Is Something Happening on Mars. To check that out. That sounds like a train. Oh, are you talking about the the Insight lander? But they were actually, I don't know if you guys seen that one. There was supposed to be something to do with the actual seismograph actually measured, it felt the vibration of the wind. And I don't believe that's true at all. If you listen to the sound bite to it, it literally can actually hear it come up and then back down. It sounded like more like a Mars quake, more than it sounded like wind. I don't know if you guys actually heard that, but it was pretty wild. Let's see. Man, this thing's all over the place on me. You guys are like, boom. Corin Brosh. Hey, greetings from Michigan. What's going on? Hope you guys are keeping warm up there. Exactly, Mirza. So my cousin is paid by NASA just to live in Australia. Yeah, they're all just robots, and they're not real. Come on. Oh, Eddie the Eagle has landed. What's going on, brother? Good evening to you. Yeah, I know. Every time you think you heard it all, man, it's just something else. Is poof, Let's see. The Boxing Junkie looking at a Celestron Nextar 8-inch for $270. Any thoughts? I'm working with a 20-year-old 4-inch telescope right now. Yeah, I mean, anything that's an upgrade, is obviously better. I mean, I got to upgrade mine because I don't think mine's more than, it's like 4 or 5 inches as far as in diameter as well. It's, I can get some decent views of it, but nothing up close. So, in fact, I've had one that's I'm trying to remember if it's a Celestron. But this thing's really nice. I mean, it's computerized. It's got all that stuff to it. And it's like $650 here used, but it was a $1,300 telescope, which is not big time, but it's definitely the definitely better size aperture and everything else, and definitely get a lot better up closes, photos and stuff like that. And if you can get, obviously better bolos and all this other stuff, magnify it, you can do pretty good with it. I wouldn't want to have it like too blurry or, too grainy. I'd like to have it as clear as I can. So you'd have to get some really whopping size, telescope. I mean, I'd love to be able to get into like an observatory and really look at it, through an eyepiece, not, some kind of computer. I've seen people go there. A buddy of mine went there. He says, man, I asked him for some telescope time. And unless you're from some kind of college or something like that, they're not going to allow you to do it. And what's funny about it is they said, well, we can give you a glance at it if you want to see the moon. And of course, he's looking through the computer. I'm thinking, well, why would you want to go through the computer? I want to see directly through the eyepiece, through the actual telescope. I don't want to see through a computer. How do I know that's not a program I'm looking at and not, actual sight of the moon? I mean, I want to see. And for some reason, they said, yeah, unless it's the smaller ones, they don't mind. I don't know. I guess it depends on the actual, observatory that you go to. Because some of them say, yeah, you get telescope time. You can actually look right through the eyepiece. I'm like, oh, that'd be sweet. I think Australians are paid by the government to teach kangaroos how to box. No, I think they do that all on their own. They're pretty smart. You definitely don't want your butt kicked by one of those. Man. Yeah, you're right about that. I can watch flat earthers all day, but it does kill brain cells. Yeah, that's a fact. You can literally just feel them fading away in your head every time you watch something. I can't. I just put it on for 10 seconds. I'm just dumbfounded, to be truthful with you. Yeah, the Boxing Junkie, it looks like a scorpion or something in the wheel. I mean, I love how everybody weighed in. A lot of you guys had said that it's a hole in a wheel. I mean, I have to disagree respectfully, because when you look at it, you can, and I've said that there's actually a hole in the wheel, right? I mean, you can see like this, there was two pieces, one coming down this way and one was coming this way. And and at very least, I think what it was there was something lodged in the wheel. See, we can't see the bottom side of it. Now, if we could have seen the back side and under it, we might have seen a piece still sticking out of the other side, right? So I'd be okay with that, and that'd be fine. But to me, I'm looking at it, and there's some kind of object in the wheel because, again, you can see the wheels like this here, and you can see this object sticking out, and there's actually a shadow under it. So something got wedged in it. What it didn't look like was just some random rock. That's what I thought was wild. So yeah. Jerry MC, good evening all. Good evening to you there, Jerry. How are you? Hey, from Combine. Hello, what's going on? Do you think NASA should speed the process up on Mars, and do you think they are looking for some type of volcano on Mars? Well, they actually had one erupt not too long ago. One of the dormant 3, volcanoes that are in a line. They're like 1, 2, 3, and then of course you got the Olympus Mons, the largest one here in our solar system. It's I believe it was the third one down. So in other words, you got the large Olympus Mons, and you got the 1, 2, 3, and it was the one on the bottom. And funny enough, I don't know if you guys heard anything about it lately. I haven't. Supposedly they had this like smoke or something coming off that, and I didn't see it as smoke. It almost looked like something crashed on it. Because when I brought all that brightness down, because it's almost like they bring up the brightness quite a bit. So anything that's white really kind of just bleeds, if you will. Like when you turn up remember the old TVs, you can actually turn it way up and make all the colors bleed. Well, it kind of looked like that. And when you brought it all down, it just looked like there's one little thing that was there at the very beginning of that smoke. And it was just something sitting there. It kind of looked like an object to me. Of course, that was just me. You know, I'm not saying everybody else has to believe that, but that's what it looked like to me. Did you guys hear anything else about that? Or was it, was that just short-lived story? Stephen Early, appreciate the donation, man. NASA found more water on Mars. What do you think? And I'm not surprised. I even said we're going to find it. I think you may be talking about the north, next to the North Pole. They found what looked like, and I'm not sure. I could be wrong. You guys can correct me. There was like a mile of it under the ground, but it was only in a shallow cavern. It wasn't very. They said if there's anything under 12 inches of water, the satellite wouldn't be able to register it. So clearly it was above that, and it was just this long, just cavern under the ground, and it had this water on there. Now, Stefan, I don't know if you're talking about that particular one, or if they found more, but I'm not surprised because there's always been water there anyway, right? They claim that it's just under the surface, and there's X amount of water per, and I forget how much it is because this story came out quite a while ago. But there's always water under the surface, right? And that's what I'm saying. So on a really warm day, right, you've got, these people are saying on a warm day, there's water under there. Clearly there's going to be evaporation, right? Because you've got these wispy cirrus clouds in the sky. Well, what happens to a cloud after it takes in so much vapor? What does it do? It builds up so much, it's just too much moisture, and it falls back to the planet or Earth, depending on where you're at, Mars, and that's it. It just comes down as rain. So there's water, and it's been water there for years. I mean, how many times you guys seen these older, sites? I mean, where they see ponds. In fact, I've done a video about that. It looks like ponds and trees around the pond and all this other stuff. So, yeah. Hello from Wales, UK. Mark, good evening to you. Or good morning. I believe it's morning for you guys. I think you're about 5 hours ahead of me, 4 or 5. Ghost of Vermont Paranormal. Looks like a crab type thing, or maybe an insect. Really strange looking. And I agree. I mean, I was kind of playing around a little bit, saying it does look like some kind of weird scorpion because it had looks like these little pincher type things. But it's not really pinchers per se, because like I said, you can see like there's a flap over the front of that, and you can clearly see that thing. And then there was one on the very end of it. So it looked like 2 rips in the wheel, but yet this thing was big enough to not fit into either one. Now, the other side of that could be that we don't see the other rest of the tear, right? Because this thing's lodged in it. So it could very well be. And like I said, I'm okay with the fact that it's just a piece of, Martian garbage, you know what I mean? Like a rock or something just jammed in it. What I was really, my main focus on this, I don't know if you guys caught this, but my main focus was that, keep in mind, this thing just rolls along. It's not very fast. I don't think it's 1 to 2 miles an hour. And of course, it's capable of going much faster than that. And we are talking about the Curiosity rover, is that this thing is capable of moving. It can jackrabbit. It's got a jackrabbit button where it can literally move fast enough. But when it crawls, it's maybe 1 to 2 miles an hour over the surface. So it can go over large rocks. But it just so happened to stop right smack dab right there with all the tears in that particular center wheel. And a lot of you guys picked that up, by the way, where you got the end wheel. Looks almost really good shape. And then the middle one looks like it's got ripped to hell and back. What's really funny about it is I said they just happened to stop the thing just perfect where that thing was right in the light coming through the wheel. No, they wanted to inspect that for a reason. Now, it may be only just to simply say what kind of rock, what is it that punctured the wheel, right? But they had to have seen this thing before they put the molly cam on and the actual turret arm underneath the belly of this thing to take a look, right? In other words, they must have stopped at some point, just happened to look down at the wheel and said, hey, there's something lodged in it. So they just kept rolling, and had the camera on it until they said stop. And they happened to stop right smack dab on that object in the wheel, right? I thought that was a little weird. Now, that's not to say that it's not, it could be very well be natural, right? Hard to tell. Richard Frost, why are NASA only making one rover at a time instead of a few and sending them to other planets or moons? I'm sure that's already been done, to be truthful with you. How do we know? Just because we haven't heard about it, we the public haven't heard about it, doesn't mean it hasn't been done, right? Now, maybe they haven't. I gotta stop putting my knee through this tower. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. But I think they found quite a bit of stuff on Mars, and that's the main focus. They've sent all kinds of orbiters and around, other planets, moons. Probably haven't found anything that really makes them want to get there and land like immediately. And I know there's some moons that they want to land on, like Europa, things like that. They're thinking that there's ingredients for life on this moon. So, and there's other moons as well, right? So I think it's just a question of time. Like I said, guys, we're just learning how to walk, man. We're just happen to get out in our neighborhood and we just happen to be looking around and go, oh my God, look at that over there. Wow, look at that over there. So now we're getting excited. We're seeing these things. We're sending these probes. We're sending these rovers, so on and so forth. So yeah, again, we're just learning how to walk. We're just looking at our neighborhood and just getting to know our neighbors if they're in fact alive and on the planet. Lance Miss Blanco, appreciate it, bro. The donation there, appreciate that. Let me see here. Whoop, this thing just jumped way the hell up there. Let me see. Jack T, Cyborg 10. Well, the same could be said about the Sphinx and the Egyptian pyramids. I think he was talking to this other person here with a question mark. Ian Walden, what's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping in. G White 713. If you found a max close-up image on Mars and a verified NASA photo that depicted not only structures but possible small beings, would you show it to anyone? Absolutely, of course. I think everybody needs to see everything we can find in these photos, right? Some things are just like boom, right there in your face. You can find them with ease. Some things you got to really dig. Now, I did find something that, and I don't know why, I just can't find the actual photo. I tried to find the NASA link, but today I did find it. And it's what's funny about it is you see these things in the distance. Let's call it just a rectangular structure. We'll go with that. But now picture you're one of the CGI artists, right? And you just take this thing and you just go put like a line down and just kind of color it in. What would that look like? It would look like a mountain. So you kind of put like two like slopes on each side of this object and kind of make it blend in. And you can literally make it look like some kind of, mountain, a butte, whatever it may be, right? I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, but I would definitely show everybody that. I haven't really been, I told you guys truthfully, I don't really see too many of these beings a lot of people see, right? But that doesn't mean it's not there. I just happen to see, maybe because I was a tool setter for like 14 years, right? Setting up machines, large machines and stuff like that for years. Maybe that's all I see is more mechanical than I do see biological, right? So maybe that's the case. I don't know. Cyborg 10, why are the mummified statue heads always oriented correctly? If there are planet-wise catastrophe, how come they are not knocked over? That's a great question because I even said this before. I said, why is it that some areas look like, and I don't mean pristine because we really can't see these things clearly, right? But you can see things that look like it's just normal. In other words, if you see a structure, it doesn't look like it's dilapidated or anything like that. It looks perfectly fine. And then there's other things that look like stuff just totally ripped it to pieces and total catastrophic event. Is it possible that, the only thing I can think of is picture a country here on Earth that had a war in certain parts of that country. Well, this is the reason why you see some areas are okay and then some areas are complete devastation, right? That's the only thing I can think of because, like you said, it makes perfect sense. You got something that looks perfectly okay. And then over there, it looks like, something ripped everything to pieces. That's the only thing I can come up with. Tommy Wiley, would you be prepared to go back to the Martine Graney photo you enhanced about a week ago? Behind the structure you enhanced is a long tunnel. There's a long tunnel, rather, with a sealed off end going to the mountain. And I think I know what you're talking about, Tommy, because I've seen this myself where, it's weird. Like you can make the video, you look at the thing, you enhance it a little bit. throw it on there, and then after you go back over the photos, and you're just going, man, I didn't even see this earlier. Sometimes you just got to step back and then have a better look at this thing, and then you happen to see something even more. That's happened to me more than once. Not a lot, but it has happened. So yeah, I might be just doing that. Molder 06, what's going on? Hello from France. Hello, good to have you guys in here. Good morning, sir, from Kosovo. Good morning to you, the Equalizer. Good to see you in there. And getting you guys from all over the world. Awesome. Let's see. Bidirectional wheels. Yeah. The weird thing about it is, like I said, these things, the wheels on the Curiosity rover are a solid, or I should say a machined aluminum, or aluminium, like you guys say in the UK. And I believe it's only like a 60 thousandths gauge. It's not very big or thick, but it makes you wonder. To a certain degree, I understand why the middle wheel is completely torn. If you look at the way this thing's made, it's like, I'm trying to remember if it's the front wheels. The front wheels are independent. In other words, they're not, they can swivel and everything else, and just like the back ones can, right? The middle wheels are on actually a teetering mechanism. So you get the back wheels here, middle wheels. So every time it goes up over something, it does this. So what it does is the bed itself is on that teetering. So what it does is it helps to keep that straight while the rest of the wheels go up and down over it. So it may be taking a lot of pressure on that middle wheel, and this is the reason why we have what we have, right? More, basically wheel destruction compared to the others, even though they've got punctures and everything else in them. So yeah. Exactly. Studio realism. Yeah, they wanted a picture of it. And it makes you wonder. I mean, there's so many holes in this wheel. Why this one piece of garbage? I'm sure with all the holes in them wheels, why all of a sudden that thing? Like, gee, we got to stop and look at this piece of trash that got stuck in the wheel. Look at the size of the holes in that wheel. You're telling me nothing else ever got jammed in that wheel? Why this particular one? Why do they stop it perfectly so they can get maximum light into that wheel so this is the Molly cam can see it? Again, it might be nothing more than just pure curiosity. Forgive the pun. And that may be all it is, right? Yeah, $900 hammers. I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they charge like, what was that joke they had on Independence Day? Like $300 or $3,000 toilet seats and stuff. That's pretty funny. How long is the communication delay with the rover? Daniel, it's kind of like, it depends. It's anywhere between, from what I understand, it's anywhere between 5 and I believe 11 or 12 minutes, depending on how close it is to Earth. Now, it's not the Curiosity I'm talking about. I'm talking about the MRO or the other orbiters, because you've got the Curiosity rover transmits up to one of these satellites, and then it relays it to Earth. And depending on what position Mars is, if it's closer to Earth, then it's actually like around 4 or 5 minutes. And it can be anywhere up to, I think, even 20 minutes. I'm not even entirely sure, but I think it's a little less than that. Now, as far as like commands that it gets, it's autonomously. So it drives automatic, but if they want it to stop, they'll just tell it to stop in a certain area, and then they'll give it commands. And then, of course, it still drives autonomously. In other words, so if they say, go look at that rock over there, it'll still turn, but it'll watch where it's going. In other words, it'll navigate certain boulders, go over certain rocks. If there's a cliff or some kind of hole, giant hole, they'll go around it, so on and so forth. So this thing's pretty high tech. It's not a toy. Pretty good. Let me see here. Let me see. The night ale. Chris, we ever do a video on Pluto's Bernie Basin? You know what? I've seen pictures of that. I need to check it out a little bit more, to be truthful with you. I haven't really gotten into that, so I'm going to. So we'll definitely take a look at that. Diano running Rampage 25. I believe people have already been to Mars, and there's already a base set up there. And you might very well be right, because there's a lot of talk about that. And I know you guys have seen, a lot of you guys seen that video that I had done prior to the Curiosity one, about what they're actually, that space treaty and all this other stuff. And I strongly believe that these other beings are allowing us to explore our surroundings and without messing with us, meaning they're just saying, hey, let them check out their surroundings, let them grow, let them do their thing. And like I said, a prime directive is not to fool with their evolution, their growth, Don't mess with them. However, we don't want to see you guys militarize your space around your Earth, and don't do it to the moon or anywhere else. Just keep that crap to yourself. And that's basically what this thing was saying. And guys, to be truthful with you, I was only scratching, just barely scratching the very surface of that. There's so much of this stuff out there. If you guys get a chance, I know somebody suggested this to me, and I haven't had a chance to see it, but I did today. I saw the Unacknowledged with Stephen Greer. Check that out. I think it's on Prime, and just look it up. If you have an app that has all kinds of movies and everything, look up Unacknowledged, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because they even kind of reflect on what I was talking about, or a little bit more in depth, why they'd be hiding it and why certain things that they do to kind of fool the populace. So check it out when you guys get a chance. How many of you guys have seen that? Have any of you other guys seen that? It's pretty good. Let's see. TR3B. It's crazy how much is going on up on the moon. Always take a look at night. Really wanted to invest in a telescope. Any recommendations? Shares. I would think, to be truthful with you, I'm just getting into that now myself. I've been looking at telescopes and stuff like that, and I like to get a bigger one than what I've got. Right. So I would say no less than at least an 8-inch telescope, because from what I'm seeing, it's just, obviously the bigger the better. And the fact that these things have better lenses, better mirrors. I mean, some of them are just constructed a whole lot better, right? Like I said, the one I looked at was about $1,200-$1,300, but the guy was selling it for like $650. And I could probably maybe squeak it down a little bit less than that, but I'd like to be able to do that myself. I've got all kinds of borrows and everything. I can get in pretty down close with the smaller telescopes that I have, but because I like just looking at the moon itself, right? Because even then, if you got the whole moon in there, you can see, if there's anything flying around it, take photos, enhance it, so on and so forth. So a lot of the winter time, which has ended here, it was just crazy. Even now, April showers. I mean, it's cloudy on and off constantly. It's a mess. It's hard to really get a good view of the moon, obviously, if you got clouds. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, we're looking at getting into a little bit more of that ourselves. I know a lot of guys said, hey, man, you ought to get into the moon, check it out, do some more videos, maybe do some live feeds and everything else. I know you guys have been doing that. I've always liked the moon. I've always liked looking at it. In fact, to do it in my spare time, and just to have a good look at it, especially when it's like full moon and it's like one of these super moons. It's pretty awesome. Scoos Bill, hello from Liverpool, UK. Hello, what's going on? Question, in your opinion, why we have never been back to the moon? I don't know. Have we ever left? Now, what I mean by that is because the moon missions, the Apollo missions, have ended, doesn't mean they stop when going to the moon. Because how do we know they've announced all that, like we're going to the moon on the Apollo 11, so on and so forth, all the way up to 17. But did they stop? How do we know? Because they announced that to the public when they were doing those Apollo missions, but that doesn't mean they had to keep going and telling everybody. They could have easily just said, okay, well, we got what we needed, as far as when they were up there, right? Got their hands on whatever they needed to get their hands on. And they said, okay, that's the end of the mission, bye. But they just continued on. How do we know? I mean, it's pure speculation, of course, but how do we know they haven't? Like I said, they could have easily used more of these space shuttles to just do that. I mean, again, once you're out into space, there's nothing really to hold you back. There's no restriction, or I should say friction or anything of that sort. Once you break away from Earth, it's just, you don't need any engines. There's nothing to stop you. So you just find your way to the moon, slow down, and you can land that thing like a regular plane. You see it when it comes back to Earth, right? How do we know? Just something to think about. Doesn't mean it's, again, it's pure speculation. We don't know, because I don't know. But if you read more and more of those papers on the space treaty and how there's people that from here on Earth, they're saying that, some of them are already in contact with them. What's that tell you? I mean, so yeah, anything's possible as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, put the pieces together. Stop putting more and more of them together, and then have a look around, and you just be like totally crazy. Like, wow, man, this is starting to look like we've been lied to on a much larger scale than we've ever been told. So, yeah. Studio Realism. I'm trying to find a picture that was that has the Rover canister on the ground. I know which one you're talking about. I don't know if that was the Rover or was that the what was that the Viking lander that had like a giant cylindrical kind of object sitting next to it, next to a rock? Is that the one you're talking about, or are you referring to? I think I know which one you're talking about too. There was one that had some other mechanical part that was from was it the Curiosity rover? I believe it was. Yeah. Between it and a rock to compare it to another photo I researched recently. Yeah, I mean, I can help you out with that if just clarify which one you want. Well, which one you're really talking about, because I can check that out myself. Let me see. Massive electrical discharge. Yeah, James. I mean, a lot of people say that when you watch the Thunderbolts project. I'm not so sure that that's the case, although it's a very good possibility. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of things you can simulate in a lab, right? But that doesn't mean that's the cause. It's a good theory, and it's probably the best one they have. But I'm not sure that's it. And a cat. I'm ugly. I don't know about all that now. Anyone found anything that doesn't check out on the recent Navy TRB patent? I'm not sure of that. Anybody else know anything about that? Elon Musk is from Mars. He's showing us some of their technology. I'm not sure he's from uh, Mars there, Jackie. Jelly's 007. But guy's brilliant. I mean, I love the idea he's pushing the envelope, trying to get everybody to do this stuff, right? Everything from the electric cars to, trying to get to Mars, trying to do it safely. It's funny, a lot of people were making fun saying, oh, yeah, you want to get what a joke, he wants to get a Tesla up on Mars. Yeah, he's not talking about the standard car, man. He's not. Because if you really think about it, what's the difference between what he put on Mars and what we put on the moon? It was electric lunar buggy, right? So what's the difference? Obviously you can't put a combustion engine on it. I guess you could probably if you had that thing absolutely perfect, but I doubt it. But the whole point is like, they had an electric lunar buggy. Why can't they have an electric vehicle on Mars, right? But it would be totally different. It wouldn't be anything like you see on the roads. But pretty crazy. Studio Realism. No, I do not have a photo gallery. What I'd like to do is I'm going to get put some photos on a site, probably all the best enhancements, and start throwing those up. So in other words, every time I do a video, I'll take these things and put them up on this site. So my enhancement, just copy that, throw it up on the site, so everybody can have a look at them. Mitch Smith, hey Chris, the channel has come a long way since I first subscribed. Glad to see it, brother. Well, it's all because of you guys, man. I mean, is it really me, or is it because of the interest? You guys share the same interest. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? Because now, even though I bring you this stuff, doesn't mean it's just my channel anymore. Because without you guys watching, it's not a channel, right? So the fact that you guys, I'm getting more and more people on here, showing me that there's a lot more interest. It's not just a few people with interest like I have. It's a lot of people that have interest in this. And I think a lot of people are starting to they're getting awakened to the fact, or awoken to the fact that there's much more out there. And people are starting to get privy to it. And they're just like, you know what? I'm tired of the lies, man. There's got to be more than that out there. And they just happen to find my channel, somebody else's channel, whatever it may be. And they're just going, and of course, as long as they're trying to be truthful with you guys, then you go, okay, well, again, I try to always tell you guys, listen, you can, watch what I post, but just please do your own research, because that's what ultimately, I'm not here to say you have to believe what I say. I want you to see it and then look into it for yourself. Look at the photos. If you got Photoshop, dissect it, these photos, and see for yourself. You may come up with a total different conclusion. I don't know. But that's what it's all about, to get in this stuff and find out what's really going on and come into your own conclusions, right? John Beck, keep up the good work. I appreciate you guys being there for me, man. That's what it's all about. Blue Utopia. Is it possible to see watermarks on the moon Just got just got off a live feed from Japanese work. Yeah, I would imagine if they get close enough so you can actually see that. In other words, you can see like actual erosion marks, on the buttes or mountains there, or in these craters, some of these craters. But because they do say there is actually water on the moon, so there's no doubt it's definitely there. James Rocast, good one. I wonder if Elon is going to be the first man to light up a blunt with Joe Rogan on Mars. What's happening, Chris? How's it going? Elon smoked a, but yeah, absolutely. It was kind of fun. Hey, you know what? People, a lot of people mock him. In fact, I think it kind of hurt his business this much. But at the end of the day, he's a human being, just like you and I, man. Now, whether you smoke blunts or not, it's immaterial. The point is, he's down to earth, but yet the guy's amazing, man. The first thing I loved about him is that he did this with the electric car. He said, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to give you all the information to it. In other words, nothing's patented. Have at it. All the technology I put into these motors, he built himself. And I don't mean literally him, but the thing is, they design the motors, all the stuff that goes into these cars, and he's willing to share it with the people. Go ahead and take it. Take all the prints, the schematics, take it all. Do what you got to do with it. So that we ourselves, other car companies, can grow. And that's what it's all about. Get people to grow more and more with this stuff, and spread the information out to better humanity. That's basically what it comes out to, man. That's the way I feel about it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's the way I do. Randy Isaac, I'm not sure. We talked about you on Bruce Sees All. It was terrible. I'm kidding. We all love your channel. Yeah. Well, I mean, here it is. I mean, the when you stop and think about, like I said, this, you guys watch all kinds of channels, and if whoever it is being sincere and they're bringing out their honest work, I give them props. I back them 100%. A lot of people said, "Hey, would you get together with Bruce?" Absolutely. In fact, we've talked. I'm going to guess about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, right on Facebook video chat kind of thing. But he's not easy to get a hold of. I'd like to get back with him and really do something with him. You know what I mean? But every time I make the attempt to, somehow I can't get a hold of him. And like I said, I'm more than open to do it. So he's a good guy. I mean, like I said, we talked for a while on there, and we had a couple laughs. I know he's busy doing these things, knocking these videos out and stuff like that. And it takes a bit of time, guys. I mean, when you make these videos, it's not just like, hey, I found something and then just upload it. No, you got to find whatever, for me anyway, find a picture that's worth, even if there's anything in it to begin with. If there's anything in it, fine. Enhance it, make a video out of it, kind of, narrate through it, edit it, upload it. I mean, there's quite a bit of work involved. It's not just, just simple, so yeah. Let me see here. This thing, you guys are typing so quick. It's like, whew. Let me see. Yep. Doc Chalk, Lily Chalk. I like that. It's pretty good. The truth, plain and simple. So what it comes out to, man, just try to get out the truth, and we can all just dissect it. Renee Vaughn, Oosterhout. Yeah, keep up the good work, Chris. Big fan. I appreciate it there. No doubt. Well, like I said, I mean, it comes down to you guys, man. It's, it's getting more subs because, again, there's more of you guys jumping on board with the fact that maybe you're just tired of the lies, and you just have that same thing you want to do too. In other words, you want to just say, you know what, I'd love to be able to get into these photos and dissect them too myself. And some of you guys have told me, listen, I don't have any kind of enhancing software. So I basically just, watch your channel and you bring out these things, and, basically that's what you do. And then there's a lot of you guys have been more and more. I get you guys through emails saying, hey, Chris, I decided to get this myself. My God, the crazy stuff I'm finding in these photos is ungodly. In fact, some of you guys have said, I've seen a couple of different things you didn't see. Great. That's awesome. Start doing these things and then start kicking out these videos, man. I mean, it's what it's all about, getting the truth out. As long as you're being genuine and finding these things, get it out, man. People need to see this stuff. And I'll back your channel. If you got some good content, I'll back it, no doubt. Jerry MC, I appreciate it, man. No, it's mostly you, Chris. Other people have similar channels, but they can be boring. You, my friend, are not. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, like I said, I try to minimize the video, so because some people just don't want to see a long video, and some of you guys do. So what do? Try to get in the middle. You know what I mean? The old saying is, you can't make everybody happy. That's a fact. But I try to do it so it's not too long, but not too short. You know what I mean? What do you guys think is the average it should be? You guys throw me a number. Oh, where did I see that other one here? Fozzie King Bailey. Follow loads. Just this best channel for me. Appreciate that. Let me see. Let me see. Man, this thing just went. I'm trying to catch up for you guys. I don't miss anybody here. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on anything about other channels because they do their other thing. They do their thing and they do it to the best of their abilities, do a great job as far as editing. I'm not like a big editing king as far as like doing all kinds of weird videos and stuff like that. Although there's nothing wrong with that. But I won't bash your channel because it's up to you guys really to make your own, decisions, right? That's what it really comes out to. You guys going to say, hey, I like the channel, or El Shitsky. You know what I mean? Either way, you're just going to, you're going to make your own decisions and whether to follow a certain channel or whatever. So, Elon has to be. Women are from Venus, rather, and men are from Mars. That's the old saying. Yeah, I wish it was that easy, making a train track from Earth to the moon. Now they won't have to do that, but I have a feeling, like I said, they've made it so easy going back and forth to the moon. It's not even funny. I just, again, judging by some of these secret papers we've been, like I exposed in my other video, not this last video, but prior. There's just so much to see in these things, man. And it's not the last of what I've been digging into either. I've been digging in a lot more to try to find more stuff for you guys. And like, some of these videos even had said that, a lot of these things are being hidden. There's hundreds of things that these countries hide a year from the public. What are they? Now, it could be anything from just, it could be anything from weapons, secret weapons to space programs, whatever it may be. And I think any of these whistleblowers that bring this stuff out to the public, kudos to them. Is it against the law? Absolutely. But the thing is, isn't it against the law to like rip the people off too? That's the way I look at it. How is it fair? How is that fair for we the people? If they are taking our money or just robbing the treasuries and stuff like that, how is it fair to the people? That's not right. Little gremlin, Chris, does NASA ever respond to any of these observations? And if so, what do they explain them as to be? Simple pareidolia. That's what they do. It's a bunny in the clouds, nothing there to see. You guys are just seeing things. And that's the, it's like a knee-jerk reaction for these people. That's all they do. It's your pareidolia. It's nothing. You're seeing things. And, it's basically swamp gas. That's what it comes out to. That's just the way that's how they answer everybody. But what I'd love to see is never mind us, attacking them, saying, hey, what about this? How come you haven't said anything to the public about this? What I'd love to see is more mainstream scientists doing this. But you know what? Again, these guys are probably like, okay, we could do all kinds of paperwork and all kinds of peer review papers on whatever else, but it's probably a no-no when it comes to anything they may see on the moon. Don't publish it. Anything on Mars, again, you get these really, really big telescopes, and I don't think you're going to be able to see the surface too good, but regardless, don't say anything. Meaning they may see something around Mars or the moon. Don't say anything. Just keep it, just shut your hole. Don't talk. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's, and again, just look onto the unacknowledged, that video, and it explains a lot of what I'm saying. Let the man do what he wants. He deserves a blunt more than any of us. Yeah, I guess For the time he puts in, Elon puts in, yeah, no doubt. Little Gremlin. I'm not so sure about that. He wrote, what about Elon's BS hypertube that will never take off? Interesting, take off underground. I believe it will. I mean, they've already ran a test on it and already ran it. He was already in the tube with one of these reporters, and that thing was just buzzing right along. He wasn't touching any of the steering, nothing like that, and just went right along and got them to their destination. It will take a bit of time to get that thing done. You got to understand, this guy's got his hands in everything from space to vehicles, meaning cars, trucks, doing trucks now. Well, he's been doing trucks. He's actually designed a semi truck or a tractor trailer, and so on and so forth. I mean, the guy's into everything, and he's just trying to improve how we live on this planet. Be able to get around easier, so on and so forth. I don't know if you guys heard about the electric jets or planes that they want to do, and the way he explains the science into this thing, it's absolutely feasible. It sounds BS. You go, how the hell would you put an electric motor in a big plane? That sounds ridiculous. It isn't. I mean, when you think about it, they said you can the amount of thrust you can put in a small engine like this, it literally have you blowing back at your shirts all over the place. Now, picture of something a lot larger, and they said for the size of the electric motor, it could just put out so much thrust that it's insane. So, and they said there's less takeoff time because it literally they can just tilt it, like the Harrier jump jet. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Harrier jump jet, but the wings actually change like this, and it just takes off vertically and then just flies off. And they can do the same thing. So he's pretty much into everything. Oh, wait a minute. Where do we go? This just jumped on me here. Fish Tropic. Hey, I am new here. Hey, welcome aboard. Good to have you. Little Gremlin. But what about the Mars photo of the UFO crash landing? Picture that seems to be sat at the top of the hill. How can anyone deny that? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. I don't know if you got a link to that or not. And you can share it, and we can share it with the rest of the people in here and check that out. Not sure. And maybe if I had a link or a picture, I'd probably notice it right off the bat, right? But yeah, I mean, if you got a link or something like that, you want to drop it, just drop it in there. We'll check it out. Exactly, William. Yeah, there probably is a fair disclosure clause in the law for the funds they spend to send things into space. And again, these guys get funds through these observatories too, right? They say, listen, I know you're doing all kinds of work, whatever it may be, your astronomy work, whatever. You say anything that you're not supposed to say according to this piece of paper you signed. You say any of it, first of all, you can get. I think it was like, I forget what it was they said in that video, unacknowledged. It was like, $10,000 fine and X amount of years in prison. Or they just make you disappear. I mean, whatever works, right? FaZe King Bailey, I think NASA should do less cover-ups. And what do you feel on or about Men in Black and real? I don't know. I believe there are. I've seen and heard about people who have had like these vehicles parked outside their house. I've had crazy things happen to my computer where I was talking to a good friend of mine about certain subjects like this and done live hangouts and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, he'd either completely drop out. And one time I had like a bunch of my pictures would just popped up on my screen. It's almost like somebody was going through them. And I just shut off my modem and shut the computer down. Restarted and everything was fine, but it's almost like they were just trying to take the information or completely just mess the computer up, whichever comes first. I don't know what was going on, but I shut it all down before they can do anything, or the computer went completely crash or Omni or whatever. Walton, what is your opinion on the theory that we had a Apollo 20 mission and the videos from that mission? I don't know. I don't believe that we did have one. I know I've seen the same thing. I don't know if that was the one that had the structures in it and it looked like the astronauts going through these structures. Is it possible there's an Apollo 20? Sure. Absolutely. I can't back that. I don't know. There's really no, if you research it, there really is nothing solid on it. Let's just put it that way. So I can't say that there is one or has been, but that doesn't mean there hasn't been one, right? I don't know. Carl Johan, superconduction electric planes should have been out decades ago. And I agree, man. It's just like, you know, it's not hard to do, right? I mean, you're talking about just a prop plane. You can do that or electric. I don't know if they can do an electric turbine kind of thing, but just even a prop. I mean, you can have a crap load of thrust and get it to where it's got to go. And I believe that's the case. So oops, my bad. So let's see. Kenneth Lear, appreciated the support there, Kenneth. Chris, you are so awesome at what you do. Have you ever feared being approached by NASA or another government entity? I can't say that I have, but my wife has. She said, what would you do, man, if some of these people just came to the door one day? Besides having to go change my shorts after they leave. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really worry about it too much because I believe, and this is the truth, this is what I firmly believe. I believe that it's a way to slow disclosure, right? And I believe that in anybody who's doing any of these, it's not just me, anybody who's doing these kind of videos, trying to get these photos out or anything to do with the moon, Mars, other planets and moons, that I believe that what it comes down to is they're just using us as pawns. You know what I mean? Let them get the truth out. They can either laugh at them or take the information in. That's totally up to them people. And if you notice, there'll be a lot of battling, right? Oh, like you guys will, let's say you guys comment, then you get one person just happens to be a transient, just comes through and says, oh, you guys are all morons and you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. You guys believe in the dumbest crap or whatever that, it doesn't matter. But you're going to get that. And they would rather have people fight with each other than them look bad, period. Think about it. Now, it's almost like they go, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to put this information out, and the people who can literally, what's the word I want to use? Basically, they're saying, people who can relate to it kind of thing, like, yeah, man, something about it just feels right. Then they'll find the stuff. And the people just go, a bunch of crap. Well, then, okay, get on with your life, and that's the end of it. But I believe, like I said, a lot of people are now starting to awaken a lot of this, and they're starting to, do this stuff themselves. They really want to get into these photos, and I think it's kudos to everybody who wants to. Yeah, the night ale, yeah, man, and black show up at your door, don't let them in. Oh no, they'd have a piece right in their face too, because that's something I'm not going to tolerate. But again, I don't think that would ever happen. I'm not worried about it, but it's not that I don't look around, right? I mean, I keep my eyes open because you never can tell. Maybe they would say something. I doubt it. Basically, they just look at it. Everybody who does these things are just nothing more than little peons. They're just doing these little videos. People are either going to take it serious, the people that want to know and dig through these, or the people are just going to laugh at them. One of the two is going to happen, right? So that's why I don't worry about it, because, and you guys have asked the same thing. You said, why is it that, they're trying to cover these things up, but yet they let these little pieces out? Think about it. Why would they? They don't have to show us jack. They don't have to show us a thing. So why don't they just cover everything up? Why leave certain things like that? One I did with Martine Graney, where it looked like that, like a tunnel entrance, right? It was like buried in the ground. Why don't they just completely get rid of all of those lines? It's real easy to do. I could do that. Anybody just starting out doing any kind of Photoshop can block all that out. Why did they leave that in there? There's got to be a reason, man. There's got to be a reason. These people are not dummies. They're the smartest people on the planet. They're not dumbbells. So if there's somebody out there that's going, hey, why don't we just, throw them a bone once in a while? Kudos to them. Thank you. That's the way I look at it. I don't argue about the point. I just go, sweet, keep throwing it out for us, and I'll keep relaying it. Tom Seaton, as far as the Unacknowledged movie, do you think Greer is accurate on his theories? For the most part, I believe he is, because he's gotten a lot of other backing from other higher ups. In other words, there's people like, these commanders in the services, the was it the Minister of Defense over in Canada? They got all these people that that are credible, right? And you got to get your information from somewhere. So what he did was he gathered the information, and then he's now trying to share it, kind of like me, only on a larger scale, right? So he's into everything. He's talks to X amount of people. He's getting all the information. And a lot of these people, he said, right, not acknowledged, saying, hey, listen, a lot of these people don't want their careers ruined. So I'll take in some of the information. The people that don't want to go on record, I don't show their face. I just say, listen, I just relay it, and that's the end of it. I just say it's basically, I think he calls it like kind of like an anonymous kind of thing. Just, don't say the name, but, he'll say it's like from other sources I've gotten, this is what they've said. And then there's people who have stepped forward. Well, then they talk about it literally on the film. So pretty cool. Randy Isaac, an electric motor has instant torque. Powering them is the problem. Yeah, they do. I mean, it's kind of like I own an electric car, and I own a hybrid. Now, the electric car, I mean, it's awesome, man, because these things, now I own the cheaper one. It's a Mitsubishi. It's controlled by software, which kind of stinks, but so it's torquey as hell. It's fun to drive. It's no Tesla, but I don't care. That's not why I bought it. But I love the idea. It's like I could pass a gas station all day long. Now, it has its limitations of just like anything else that's electric. I don't care if it's your shaver you use in the morning, right? The electric shaver. It's limited. It's got to be charged. What I like about it, I just come home, and if it's low, go ahead and plug it in like your cell phone, and you know what I mean? Wake up in the morning, unplug it, go to work. So I don't care. But you're right about the powering them is the problem. So this is the reason why they're trying to get these a lot of these lithium batteries to get more density and stuff like that and hold more power for longer, so on and so forth. But think about it. How big of a battery can you put in the place of a fuel tank? Be a good sized battery, right? So they can go pretty far, and I think they won't have any problem doing that. I think it's in the works. I think eventually it'll come to be, but you're probably talking a good 20 years from now, maybe even less, depending on how fast or how much they want to push it. Billy, I'm not sure I'm going to Kresmian. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Hello from Bristol, Columbia. Love your vids and work. I love to find life here in planet Canada. Oh man, that's pretty bad. Yeah, I'm gonna wave a hand right back at you, British Columbia. Good to have all you guys here and there, jumping in there from all over. Again, people sharing the same interest. Whether you guys agree with everything I say, I don't want just monkeys listening to it. I want everybody to have their own opinions. I want everybody to get into these photos. That's what makes the channel awesome. Because everybody weighed in on that last video I did. A lot of you guys say, oh, it's just a hole. Okay. I respect your opinion. It is what it is. You guys see things differently than I do. Doesn't make you a moron, and doesn't make me a moron. We're all just looking at the thing, trying to decipher and see what these things really are. And that's what it's all about, picking these things apart. Reggie Mahaman. Let's see. Chris, you know as well as I do, they cannot go back to the moon. Armstrong said that they were up there waiting, and they can't go to Mars either. I guess you're talking about like other beings up there on the moon, and they just, because a lot of people, you'll say that, a lot of these guys have said that, they were warned not to come back. And that may be the case, but if these aliens are working with us, so I'm going to say beings, because when you say aliens, people think these little grays, right? Those little 4-footers, 3 or 4 foot people. I think they're a lot like us, and even if they are different, the way I look at it, it's like if they're there to help us and kind of lead us by the hand, if we're willing to go by the universal rules, then they're there to help us out. If we can only just get our crap together here on the planet and accept each other for people and humans, as opposed to, gee, he's of a different country, he's of a different color, he's of a different... As soon as we can stop all this crap and become one as a human race, I think we'll start to see change on this planet in a big way. Is that going to happen? Who knows, right? It's hard to tell. Randy Isaac, electric motors are commonly more reliable. They can be. I mean, there's a whole lot less moving parts, right? So, Fish Tropic, yes. Is this the channel where you analyze pictures? Yep, absolutely. And we all do. A lot of the subs here will actually take the photos. I give them the links. It'll be in my pinned comment right there in the comment section. I always pin my comment right at the top. And if you click on it, you can go into the links. You'll see all the links to anything I've talked about, whether it's one link or many links. I'll put them all in there so people can click on it and they can analyze it themselves. Make your own decisions. Max Rice, new here too. Well, welcome aboard. Gravitics, yeah. Is the propulsion method of the future. 1988 B2 bomber has it. I've demonstrated in my shop at 30,000 volts. Works great. Yeah, there's a lot of people who have been doing this lately. Right down to the smallest plane. I forget what that thing is called, but it's like this little, I call it a pod, right? With just wings and it just has electric motors on it. And it just takes off like kind of like an angle type thing. And a lot of people are doing this. You're going to see a lot of these things flying around. Before you know it, 30, 50 years, it's going to be like a common thing. People will be able to go back and forth, have a license for it, register it, the whole nine. And before you know it, it'll be, people will be looking down at the cars. Oh my God, look how primitive that is. And as opposed to flying. So that'll be pretty neat. And a lot of these little personal planes, you don't even need a license for, as long as you stay certain amount of feet off the ground and only so many miles, you don't need a license for it, anything like that. Of course, I'd hate to see a bunch of them things flying around. Half the people I have around here can't even drive a car, let alone a plane. Oh, let's see. Equalizer. It says can't donate or only take an American zip code. Well, you should be able to. You can click on the dollar sign thing right there in the bottom. It says say something. And you can click on that. And then it just takes you to a couple little steps, and then you can just donate. At least that's the way everybody tells me it works. I've never done it, so but that's the way it seems to work. Eddie Foltz, why don't you ever do any of the new Mars rover pictures? There has been so much stuff in it. Oh, no. Well, there's one coming up. This is the one I was saying that I couldn't find the link to it, but I finally found the link. For some reason, it's like when you, let's say you download a link from there. It used to say like JPEG or something else at the end of all of the numbers and letters to the title or the HTML to that particular photo. Well, lately it hasn't been doing that. So every time I go to, look at back on, if I go to Google Plus or Google rather, I'm sorry, I'll click on it. It'll say can't find that link. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? Well, so now I'm just going to make sure, I just keep the page open and this way I can just jump to it real quickly. And, or just what I've been doing now is just when it's in there, I'll just put, solve whatever the number is. And this way here, if I lose the page, I can instantly go right back to it and find it. So it makes it easier on me, to put the links down for you guys. But yeah, this one here is pretty much, it's like, I think it's right around 10 days old. So it's pretty much new stuff. Yeah. So you'll see that coming out too. Blue Utopia, I will send you those screenshots of those river on the moon. Find it weird. It's 2 a.m. here in France. Gotta go. Be strong. All right, Blue Utopia. Yeah, do that. Send me the links. We'll check it out. No doubt. Have yourself a good one there, and we'll see you soon. John Ball, do you believe in Nibiru or the Anunnaki? First of all, I don't believe in a lot of these people doing these channels, or I should say these channels that are doing these videos about Nibiru. Oh my God, it's the fear-mongering thing. It's going to come and crash and kill us all. And I don't believe in any of that. Do I believe it's actually a 10th planet, but because Pluto's no longer, it's one, like I said, 1 year it's a planet, next minute it's just a body out in the end of the solar system. First of all, we are part of a binary star system. We do have a burned out sun orbiting too. There is another planet. In fact, NASA's now admitted to that. There's another planet way out there. It's about 3 times the size of Earth. Is it the quote unquote Nibiru? I don't know. But the Anunnaki talk about it, and you got the Sumerians who actually talked about it rather, where they have it literally shows this little drawings and in stone basically showing these planets in the solar system. And there's basically 10 planets there. Now, they may have not counted one of the other planets, or I'm not even sure. I'm trying to remember if they actually counted the sun or our moon, and they've counted. But the way they talk about it is like they go, well, the seventh planet, from the sun. People go, well, that's stupid. We're not the seventh planet. It is if you're counting it from outside in. So think about that. So if you count from their planet inward towards the sun, we are the seventh planet. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Again, I think a lot of this stuff is linked between what we're seeing with the how the ancients have seen these UFOs and how they talk about their gods coming down from the heavens, teaching them different things. I believe it's linked, and I believe that we've been visited, thousands of years in the past, and it's still continuing on this day. And now I think we've been talking with these beings for years. I don't know. Let's see. Exactly, John. When the astronauts returned from the moon walk, they looked like someone told them they had 5 minutes to live. Um, in the press conference, you would think that they would be full of joy. They look so sad. Absolutely. I mean, these guys look like they're going. You seen them? I played the video clip in there where they're just looking like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm here." You could just see the look on their face; they're like totally distraught, right? They would rather just not be there. I mean, again, when you see the video, like an Apollo 11, see they're all waving to the crowd. Yeah, yeah, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, this is great. When they come back, they're in this totally somber mood. Like I said, I mean, like they lost their parents in a crazy car wreck or something like that. It's just when you see this, it doesn't make any sense. These guys should be like, oh my God, it was fantastic. You guys wouldn't believe it. It was just awesome to walk on the moon. We had such a great time. Even when you heard them live back in the day, they were like, oh yeah, we're just in there, sitting there doing their work. They even sounded upbeat doing that. And yet they come back and, like you said, it looks like they told them they had 5 minutes to live. Totally distraught. And you can just see the look on their face like, oh my God, I just don't want to be here. You can see that, like, oh my God, we're lying to the public. I want out of here. They were so uncomfortable. They just didn't want to be there. Uh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and. Little Grandma, hi, Chris. This is the crashed UFO on Mars I was on about. Here's a link, original image feel. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show that because a lot of times when you guys show a link, I have to actually okay it. So I just clicked on it. And if you guys want to look at it from Little Gremlin, let me see here. Let me just go ahead and grab this link. Oh, you're talking. I know what you're talking about. That was by. Yeah, it was my buddy Joe from Out Alien. He put that up there. Oh my God, it was Brett Collins Shepard that found this to begin with, I believe, and they called it the Jupiter 2. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll go ahead and, in case these guys don't have to try to go run up there and try to find this link. I'm gonna go ahead and post it right now for you guys, and you can have a look and check it out. So there it is there at the bottom. JS, Chris, love your work on Ganymede. You have to check this out. And let me see here. Oh, I seen that, JS. You did leave that link in there, so I did check it out. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, but yeah, it looked like little spheres going by this helicopter. Yeah, absolutely. And again, if this doesn't have them go to your channel, check this out. Right here, I'm gonna go ahead and show the link, and we're gonna go ahead and just drop it in here too. This is about JS. He had got a video about this helicopter where it looked like it had spheres going by it, literally racing by it. So there's the link to that. You're welcome there, JS. Let me see. Yeah, Joe's pretty cool. We're good friends with him. He's been really busy himself. I'd like to get hooked back up with him again. He's good people, does good work. What else can I say, right? He does finds some really good, objects and anomalies on Mars. Yeah, he does really good work. Yeah, you're welcome there, Peter Wikes. Wilkes, I'm sorry. Thank you for posting that picture. You're welcome. Jerry MC, come on, guys. It takes 2 seconds to hit the like button. Yeah, smash that like button for me, guys. Appreciate that. Renee von Ooster. Yeah, thanks Chris. Watch it later. Yeah, guys, check out these different things. I mean, like JS put on there. I don't know if he said you recorded it yourself, JS, but either way, it's nice catch because it slows it down. You slow it down like half speed, I think it was, a quarter speed, and you can literally see these orbs going just whipping by. Well, it looks like it's just whipping by the helicopter, so it's pretty cool. Let's see. Scott EB, dude, I was only seeing half of what you were trying to show us until the last video I watched. It made my stomach flip when I saw the bigger picture. Holy shit. Well, here's the thing, and I've told people this before. I said, listen, out of the videos that I got up there, if you only seen one anomaly, it's all it takes. Because here's the thing. You have to ask yourself, again, let's just go back a minute. If you say to yourself, my God, there's no way there could be anything else but something intelligently made. Only one thing in any of my videos. That's all it takes, because you have to question it. What is it? Why is it in a picture on Mars? It makes no sense. There should be nothing on that planet but rocks, dust, and garbage. And what I mean by garbage is nothing more than just that. Rocks and mountains and dried up area, which it's really not dry. We know that. Yeah, I mean, come on now. If it's only one thing that made you just go, wow, like to had this wow moment, yeah, that's what it's all about. So, yeah. Let me see what you got here. Let me see. Yeah, I seen this too. I'm going to go ahead and get this link too, and I'll put it down there. Mystery of the Moon's unnatural 4-mile high spire explained. But it looks like it's weird. It kind of looks like that, like a center of a, or like part of the crater. But when you really look at it, it looks like it's got a shadow to it. So it's pretty cool. Go ahead and post that. If it'll go on there. Okay. Let's see if it'll do it. Go ahead and show the link. Let me see. Maybe I may not post it. No, I don't think it will. That's weird. All right. Well, for some reason, it's not posting it. Get it to go again here. Well, go ahead and show that. Yeah, there's that right there. TRB. I got TRB3. I posted that link, so it is on there. What did they say about it? Well, I've seen people actually post that in a video, and it shows what looks like this 4-mile high, tower coming out of this crater, or at least it looks like a crater, right? And people say, "Oh no, it's just part of the crater, man. It's just part of the crater." And from the way it looks, it could very well be, but it also looks like it's got a shadow to it. Well, if there's a shadow, clearly it's something sticking out of the crater, right? So yeah. Anthony, what's going on, man? What's happening? Glad to see you this evening. George Mayer, you're doing a fantastic job, Chris. Well, I appreciate it, George. Good to see you in there as always. You guys, you've been on here for I don't know how long, a subscriber, and I appreciate that. See what we got here. Oh, okay. Something here with the moon picture. Okay, we'll go ahead and post that. Let everybody check out some of these videos and some of these people's their work as well. See if that'll go on there. I don't know if the other one was just too long or what it was. Let's see what that went on. Yeah, that one went on. Andromeda native, do you believe mankind started on Mars? I've learned once astronauts leave Earth's orbit, their cicada sleep goes to the hours of Mars day. It's true. They actually say the body is more in sync with with Mars itself, compared to Earth. Then, I mean, believe it or not, some of these scientists, now, of course, they'll get laughed at if they told people, but some of these, scientists are saying, yeah, we're actually Martians. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but we're from Mars originally. And now we're just trying to find our way home. Now, is it possible that we originated from there and again, seen this pending doom and a bunch of us got off the planet, came here to Earth, colonized here. Of course, we had to basically start over because if you just took off in just ships and just made it here, you'd have to start over, right? And there's still a bunch of that still lived on Mars, stayed on there. Even with the doom that happened and the catastrophe that happened, right? Is it possible that's the case? Could very well be. Again, I mean, at very least, I believe in the theory of panspermia, where they say, if some rock, outer space rock, hit the planet, debris went into the atmosphere, outside the atmosphere, and then the cosmic winds blew it over to Earth. So life basically started on Earth because of what come off of Mars. So that's a theory you can check out. I'm a fan of that. It could very well be. So, it's just I guess the more you research it, you just go with what actually makes more sense to you, right? Jim L. Only thing I can imagine why they are visiting us is because they need our resource, water. Now that could very well be, but you know, if you look at or read a lot of these science papers, there's water all through the galaxy and the universe, man. It's all over. Um, Again, it's on Mars, and for the longest time, they didn't even admit that. There's some on the moon, some on Mars. They're all over these asteroids and these meteors hurling through the space. You can always see like tails and stuff, trails and all kinds of stuff. So it's abundant in our universe as far as water goes. So I don't know if that'd be the case, but it's hard to tell. Yeah, Laughing Jack. Yeah, I saw the same thing. I saw that the Navy is now reporting UFO sightings. You know anything about this? If so, can you elaborate on it? Well, and that's basically what they're saying. They're just saying, why keep it from the people? You've seen the video where it came from the Pentagon, where they showed like these, I don't know if they were in F-16s, F-17s, whatever they were flying, but these jet pilots were seeing these things and actually had this thing locked on and watching this thing change and, rotate and all kinds of things. Why keep it from the people? What's the point? It's not just these people are seeing. It's not just jet pilots. It's people like you and I just standing out there just go, oh my God, look at that thing in the sky. We're just filming it now. So everybody's got cameras. Why hide it from the people any longer? To me, it's just dumb. Yeah, exactly, William. There's too much stuff to be a fluke. Far from it. Exactly. It just doesn't make sense. Cruiser X. Chris, what's up? What's your take rather on the huge triangle shapes seen in the cloud cover all over the world? I've never seen them myself, but I have seen videos that people have done them. That actually seen them rather, and they've got pictures of them, so on and so forth. Is it possible that the TR3B, meaning our own, if you listen to the unacknowledged video where they talk about what they do, basically they clone these extraterrestrial beings. They call it something. It's like basically cloning their own. So in other words, we have our own flying around, and he's got these flying around, and even talked about how they might actually make up this giant like we're being invaded kind of hoax, but to get people to be in fear of it and like, oh my God, what are we going to do kind of thing. So yeah, it's really bizarre. I mean, I've seen some unexplained things back in the day when I was younger, and a lot of people, I know some of you guys have seen stuff like that too. So, um, yeah, it's crazy. I think a lot of that stuff is top secret. I think, and a lot of it is reverse engineered or cloned. And again, we have our own, and plus there's other things coming from other planets flying around. So which one is the real one, right? It's hard to tell. Let's see. The white boy says, "Do you work for NASA? If I do, I should be fired." Because basically, I'm trying to just, bring out everything they're lying about in the photos, and I'm trying to bring it to you, the people, you, the public, there. So, if I worked for them, I'd probably be fired. Somebody asked me this one day. They said, "Hey, Chris, what would happen if they came and they approached you and said, 'Hey, how would you like to work in our CGI department?'" What do you mean? Well, you know, you seem to spot these things pretty well. Maybe you can like look at the finished product, and if you can see something, we'll go over the photo. I don't know if I can do that because I can only imagine. Can you imagine seeing these things before they do it, before they actually CGI and manipulate them, do whatever, obfuscate them and stuff like that? Can you imagine seeing that? There's no way I could keep it a secret. I just couldn't do it. If they say, "Well, it's a gag order, you can't say anything," you might as well fire me now because I can't do it. And this is the reason why probably these Apollo 11, as well as these other astronauts after them, probably were freaking out and didn't want to be there because they were just like, well, you're telling me we can't tell the public this? They seen something extra extraordinary on the moon. One, they went, which is extraordinary on its own rather. And then they go there and they see these things on the moon. They're just like, oh my God. So when you come back, first of all, you're like still like shocked with what you saw, right? And then you get back there and they give you you're getting debriefed and said, oh, by the way, you guys are not a word to say. And you just don't say a word about any of it. And you're going, okay, what do we talk about? So now you get these questions from these guys. Like one of the questions they asked me, could you see any stars? I don't know. They're looking at each other. Could you see any stars? I don't think that was the thing that was on mostly on their mind when they were up there. They're looking at, they were sent there for a reason, guys. They were sent there to look at something, put hands on these objects on the moon. They weren't paying attention to the stars. I don't think they give a good crap. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the reason they were there. And if that's the case, the stars are the farthest thing from their mind. Solemn one, Chris, do you think some of the stuff that is photoshopped on some of these pictures are small shrubs and vegetation? I thought of that recently when I saw some of your videos. Yeah, I believe it is. And it's kind of like if you're going through a desert anywhere on the planet here, going through a desert, you're bound to see these like cactus or cacti and bushes, like these small bushes here and there. Well, if you got these things growing on the planet, well, it's easy to just kind of just smudge them out, turn them into a rock because they got like a rock mimicking software. So I was like, okay, just go ahead and block that. These guys do it like it's just like second nature. I was like, okay, and we got a bush here, click, click, click. Okay, it's a rock now. We'll just smudge that out and go ahead and these guys is, it's mind blowing when they said they pretty much laid off like 250 people in their CGI department. Wait a minute, laid off 250. So how many people are actually working in that department? Let's say there's 300. Why do you need these CGI department again? Please explain. I don't get it. Show raw photos. In other words, if I went up there and I could walk up there myself, I'd just take pictures, click, click, click. By the way, send it. Done. There's nothing up there to see, right, guys? There's nothing there. It's nothing more than a cold, barren planet, right? Just dust and rocks. Why are we doing anything to these photos at all? Why are they being molested? Why are they being messed with? Makes no sense. Just like the moon photos. These should be absolutely pristine photos nowadays. And don't get me wrong, some of the photos are. But 90% of them, pure garbage. Not clear at all. Hello, I'm from Morocco. Hello. What's going on? Good to see you in here. Gil Nordell, I have all my kids subscribing to your channel. I appreciate that. Hey, maybe they can contribute. Maybe they see, hey, I've heard people say, hey, my kids see things that I haven't seen. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And they're like, well, they pointed, they say, hey, that looks like this and that looks like that. You know what? Sometimes it's good to have a fresh pair of eyeballs looking at the screen. Because some people, you'll say if you stare at something long enough, your eyes stop playing games with you. So, you want to just walk away from the computer or a screen, whatever, and then come back with fresh eyes. Sometimes your kids are looking at, oh, I've done that to my own kids. Hey, what do you think that looks like? Looks like some kind of weird car or looks like a building. Never told them anything about the photo. Just said, what do you think about that? That one photo I think I told you guys a while back where it looked like this old army Jeep was washed down a hillside. I went over to my ex-boss and I said, hey, I didn't even tell him what it was. I said, I got a kind of a crappy photo to show you. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, it's a black and white photo, but the resolution is not that great. That's all I told him. I said, what do you think about this object right there? And he kind of laughed at me, looked at me, he's like, is this a loaded question? I'm like, no, why? He says, well, I don't know what to say. I said, well, understand there is no right or wrong question. Oh, answer rather. I'm just asking the question. Oh, okay. He looked at it again and he's looking at it. He goes, if I didn't know any better, it looked like a Jeep. I said, thank you. That's all I need to hear. And this is from a guy who doesn't even do this. He's a chiropractor, for crying out loud. He has nothing to do with sciences. He has nothing to do with anything. Just a down-to-earth guy, works out all the time. He's a chiropractor. And he's seen these things on there because it looked like more than one kind of type of vehicle, kind of crazy looking thing, and, and it looked like it kind of landslided, land slid, if you want to use that term, down this hillside. And there's more than one of these things. He said, it looks like a Jeep or something. Okay, so that came to my mind too. It's exactly what I was thinking. So, yeah. Jose Molina, hello from Australia, Chris. What's going on, man? Do you think there are advanced spacecraft that have been kept a secret? Absolutely, absolutely. Um, like I said, you've got all of these weird craft that we've designed. Don't get me wrong; it's our own technology, and then there's reverse technology. It's been reversed from these UFOs or whatever, and we're just implementing into our crafts. Now, a lot of the stuff we have come up from, by ourselves, but you know, the objects that a lot of people are seeing in the sky, a lot of that could be ours. But is it ours, and how do we get the technology? Well, like I said, they're using it. They use a term in that unacknowledged movie. It's like a three-letter word. It's like almost like UFO, only it's something else, and it's basically saying it's a copied version of an alien craft, and it's ours. So yeah. Ian Walton, you need to train your eyes to see most of this stuff on both the moon and Mars. I think I'm pretty good at it. Um, you know, the idea is it's like sometimes, yeah, you got to, I mean, people have to train their eyes to begin with because sometimes you just look at the photo real quick and you go, I don't see what this guy's talking about. And then I have a lot of you guys will sit there and go, you know what? I didn't realize it till you started to either outline it or point it out, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just jumped out at me. I didn't even notice. Why? Because they blend this stuff so well into these photos that it almost looks like part of the landscape. You don't notice it, and yet, boom, it's right there. And as soon as you train your eyes to see the way these things are hidden in the photo, all of a sudden you can just look at a photo and it just pops right out. You don't even have to enhance it. It's literally right there. The only reason why you do enhance it is to make it come out even more, a lot better, right? Get it like more of a 3D, get it to pop. And that's the only reason why you do it. Other than that, you can clearly see it. It's almost like you can see how they went about hiding it, obfuscating it, and then you enhance it. Not every photo is enhanced the same way. It depends on the technique that they use to try to hide it. And as far as the tools that you use, sometimes you don't want to go too heavy on them because then you just ruin the photo. So you got to do it just right to get these things to pop out. And it's not always easy. Neil Everett, anyway, love your work. Please don't stop. I won't, man. I'm just gonna keep at this. It's what it's all about. Equalizer. Is it not a possibility that the Mars and Moon photographs are taken on Earth? I don't believe so. Um, I know a lot of people have talked about. Well, you can see these. They had these. Well, it's like little rovers, I guess. They're over in different parts of the world. They had them in different island, Devon Island, and all this other crap. Yes, they have them. Absolutely. They're training, they're basically testing grounds for these rovers. They take them in the most harshest areas, and they bring them there, whether it's super cold, really hot, and they want to see how these things work day in and day out because it's not just something you just do in a test cell, right? Where you have it inside a building, bring it up to 150 degrees and just, to sit there and run this thing over and over and over again for a long time. It's not as probably not as natural as actually being on the landscape. In other words, drive the vehicle on the landscape. It's that hot or that cold, and just have this thing basically getting beat up because they got these test rovers. It's not the only one they've ever sent. You can look at these rovers. They had one that was kind of bare bones. It was they had a wiring harness on it as opposed to the nuclear powered Curiosity rover that has its own power source, right? So yeah, you've got it's. I don't believe that's the case at all. Testing grounds, absolutely. Let me see here. Hmm. Cool. Let me see. What did I say? Willie's. A bunch of cool stuff you can use in your videos. Cool. We'll check that out. What's going on, Taff? Good to see you in here, brother. Randy Isaac Blake Cousins here. Let me see. See, I just answered this earlier, little gremlin. My question is why are NASA leaving all of this stuff in the photos? Surely they have people scrutinizing these pics. Why would they implicate themselves by using shitting masking methods? Well, like I explained, is it part of a slow disclosure, right? And they're just trying to let this stuff out really slowly and have anybody like myself, it doesn't matter who it is, doing videos on it and bringing these anomalies out. Because it's a great question. People have asked me this over and over again. They're like, well, why would they do that? Why don't they just simply just leave the object right out of the photo? Maybe they don't want to. Maybe the whole idea is to bring it out for everybody to kind of leak it out slowly to desensitize people on this stuff. So if it ever comes about and says, oh, by the way, these guys lied and yeah, we got caught red-handed that we were lying about the photos and yeah, there is life on there or was intelligent life. And they won't get hit as bad. Let's just put it that way. I mean, they're still going to be called out as a liar, whoever's actually obscuring these things and manipulating them and whatever else. But you got to keep in mind, too, these guys, they're probably being told you can leak this stuff out because ultimately it's the military that's, telling NASA and JPL and all these other space agencies, this is what you're allowed to do and this is what you're not. Maybe they're doing that purposely. Just as, like I said, slow disclosure. Maybe these guys are just kind of letting the stuff out of the cat out of the bag real slowly without them knowing about it. Who knows? I don't know. It made me wonder the same thing. Because like I said, I'm going, why would they leave this thing in here but then block out the rest of it? It makes no darn sense. Well, it does. They can simply just say, well, we're just going to do it, just leak it out slowly. And then people can, take this in, process it. And if the cat's ever out of the bag, then okay, we're going to be called a liar. We're going to get our hands slapped and off we go. That's basically what it comes down to. Jose Molina, hi Chris. Do you think there are some countries who would like the truth of life out there to be told, but have been controlled by a bigger country? Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the bigger countries, but I think that it's like I said, they're like like this united planetary whatever, like space agencies kind of thing, United Space Agencies, where they're just going, okay, everybody just keep it hush, kind of like what I exposed in those the space treaty video, right? Where they probably just go, okay, everybody, this is the reason why you don't have other countries ratting on each other, right? Because why don't they do that? Oh, we just found that the NASA's lying about this picture, and we have proof to show it. Look, why don't they do that? They don't, because they're all in on it. All these countries that are spacefaring, and they're just like, well, we don't care. Yeah, we'll keep it hush as long as we can get the pictures ourselves and look at them and so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot bigger picture than what we're really seeing here, and that's fine with me. And I believe it's all true because what I see on the moon and what I'm seeing on Mars and other planets and moons like Ganymede and so on and so forth. And just these things alone imply that there's life other than us. Basically what it comes down to. Keith Rotello, why do you think it's I'm sorry. Why do you think it's important for organizations like NASA to hide the potential for lost advanced civilizations? How do you think it would affect society? Me personally, it wouldn't affect me at all. And I think everybody here would say, oh, it'd be awesome. Tell me more. The people who don't follow this, like I said, ask anybody that doesn't watch any of this stuff or read any kind of space news or any of that sort, and just ask them again, what do you think about the latest Curiosity photo of Mars? They're just going to look at you like you got 5 heads. They're going to, what do you mean? What's a Curiosity rover? Don't even know. So the majority of people really don't know what's really going on. But if they did, how do you think they would react? Ask yourself that question. Think about your relatives that pay no mind to any of this stuff. And then you ask them, hey, what would you think about some civilization that was on Mars? They'd be like, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Some people may freak out about it. Maybe total social breakdown. Who knows? I don't know what their logic is behind this and why hiding it. Maybe the civilization is much more advanced than us, and they really don't want to tell people. Why? Technology is all about grabbing it up for themselves. And if it got out of if it got out to the public, maybe other people would want to inquire and get, maybe try to force their hand into telling the truth, through, court systems or whatever, which I think they're way above that. But you know what I'm saying? It just basically stir a hornet's nest, basically in a nutshell, right? Exactly, Jim Elliott. Mars is not all red, as they used to say and pointed out to be. It's Earth like sand dust and the sun with a bluish atmosphere, possibly even oxygen. Exactly. I mean, how many photos have I done where you just do an autocorrect on the color itself through Photoshop and boom, it instantly turns like a bluish whitish? You know, it's the way that I've done this with regular photos myself. Like, in other words, just take a picture of a landscape anywhere, could be outside your house, a mountain, whatever, and throw it into into like auto color on Photoshop. Watch what happens. Doesn't change much. You might get the greens to slightly darker green. You might get, browns turn lighter brown or darker brown. It's not going to alter the picture. It's not going to change the picture. So why is it that when you throw a Mars photo in there that's completely brown, pukey color, whatever it is, a reddish pukey color, and all of a sudden it turns it natural rocks, looking rocks. The sky's more of a bluish white. Everything seems, it's like it interprets correctly what the colors really are. So figure that out. TR3B, do you believe there could be something under the oceans? Bases? Um, it's a possibility. I'm not sure. It could very well be. Where else, best way to hide it? If you're in the ocean, nobody's going to see that. Nobody's going to take the time out to like try to dive into every part of the ocean, every inch of the ocean to try to find somebody's secret base, right? It's more hidden there than it is on a landmass. It could very well be. Um, William Johnson, what do you think about, what do you think of the Mars Man and Woman video on Art Alien TV? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. I don't know if you got a link to that. If you got a link, drop a link there, William. Um, I think I know which one you're talking about. Is that the one that looks like they're huddled together, kind of thing? I don't know if that's the one you were talking about. D Trout, I'm glad you made this earlier so I can hear live. Exactly. This is the reason why we try to do it. So everybody, all you other folks over across the big pond, you can actually take a chance to see this too. Because I know a lot of people. I mean, I got to get up in the morning and work as well as everybody else. So I'd rather make it a little bit earlier. Helps everybody out, and they get to jump on board. So that's cool. That's what I like to hear. Let me see. Jeff Martin, I also think Mars is just like Earth. I also think all of the planets are closer than they say, and we can get to them a lot faster. I don't know if they're closer, but I can almost guarantee that we have the technology to get there a whole lot faster than they're claiming. At first, it used to be like 10 months. Now they're saying 7 to 8 months. And I believe they could do it a whole lot faster than that. Different propulsions. Steve Howard, remember those weird uplights that the Mars rover took a picture of? I'm trying to remember which ones you're talking about there. NASA couldn't explain them. I don't remember them. It seemed to me, I'm trying to remember which one you're talking about because there were several photos actually that had these weird lights in them. I don't know if it was the ones that were on the ground way in the back or if it was the ones that were up in the air because it was these weird. Some of them were mistaken, the ones that were up in the air, and some of them they're on the ground because they were like actually a hot pixel from the camera. And what causes that? The actual air temperature or the sun beating on the rover actually heats the camera up, and you end up with this. You get these hot pixels. That's why you see these weird, different color, like almost like rainbowish color pixels. But doesn't that kind of blow your mind? Yes, the rover gets hot enough through the sun. Well, wait a minute. I thought there was always like below zero up there. No, it's not true. It's a bunch of crap. Equalizer. We have underwater bases. Yeah, I've heard of several. I can't confirm that, but yeah, I mean, I've heard we had several. Just not sure. Think about it though. It's the best. Where's the best place to hide that? Nobody's going to see it through a satellite. Nobody's going to see it through Google Earth. It doesn't matter. Even a plane flying above is never going to see it. Perfect place to hide bases, and including UFO bases, meaning actual, not from us. Oh yeah, Brett, 9963, NASA's explanation of the tether incident. I believe the tether was what, a mile long? I believe it was a mile long, and you can see these huge craft going underneath it. So you can see the tether, and you can see these things doing this here. They're like kind of like traveling right underneath it, above and below it. And yet they were like, yeah, it did nothing. And it's like, I don't know what they were calling. I don't know if it was like a space dust or some crazy BS. It was laughable. There's no doubt. Char Gordon, do you think the private space ventures will be successful in taking paying customers into Earth's atmosphere and ultimately to see the moon? I think the attempts to the moon will be sabotage. I don't know. I think before, I mean, they're going to have all of these like Virgin Galactic, all of these other smaller companies. Well, when I say small, these guys that are venturing into um, to have people go into space, and it's only like a 6 minute ride, right? It's like you just go up there, you're in. It's like once you're up in space, like 6 minutes, you're right back down. And it probably cost you 100,000, 150,000 to go up and see that. But it'll definitely blow away the flat Earth people, that's for sure. But I think it'll take a while before they go to the moon, and who knows what they'll do after that? Because here's the thing: they might just take it onto an area that has nothing at all in it, right? Or they'll do that, but this is what I think they'll do. Picture like a regular plane, only with no windows. So, in other words, you'll be up there, you're flying. Okay, we're going to get there, and then maybe they can, unblock the windows and open them, whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it. And it'll take you to a part of the moon. There's absolutely nothing there to be seen except for, just to fly near it and then just, and then they'll close the windows or whatever and just fly back or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it, but you can always bet that, if there's anything to be hidden, they won't let you see it. All right, Equalizer. Night. Thanks for the stream. 2:35 here now. Cheers. All right, man. You have yourself a good night and a good day tomorrow, right? Was it 10 miles long? G White 713, that tether? Thought it was like a mile long. Well, it might have been 10. It's been a while since I read up on it, but I thought it was like a mile long. But either way, still, that's pretty darn long. Even a mile long is long enough, right? Yeah, Brett 9963. The smoking gun though was the announcement of the Space Marines. Why have a military force if you don't have the potential ability to operate in that area? Well, I don't know if I heard about really Space Marines per se, but I do remember hearing about a space defense, and had nothing to do with Trump. This was like years ago, right? This was like probably 8 to 10 years ago, where they talked about this, where they had literally a defense out in space. It was an actual, I don't know if it was the Marines itself, but it was just crazy how they talked about how, they're defending Earth. And I'm thinking, defending Earth against what? I mean, I can understand other countries, but against what? Well, now I just did that video for you guys about the space treaty. It all comes together. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you guys are saying different lengths on that tether, but either way, this thing, if it was a mile long, that's huge, man. That's long. And you got these things going above and under it and around it, and they had these big ones too. They're like these big UFO like type things just going underneath it. Crazy. Exactly, Brett. Flat Earth. So 1800s, if not earlier. Well, hell, even the ancients knew the Earth was round. So it's like they went, okay, the planet is round and every other planet's round. Then they had this area of time where people weren't retarded, and then we're back to it's round again. I don't know. And then now we're going back into stupid, where people believe, like I said earlier, about Australia doesn't exist, and people who live there or whatever, they're working for NASA or some guy. I'm like, where do these people come up with this trash? The other thing I want to tell you guys about is China plans to build a moon base near the lunar South Pole. And of course, they're talking about 10 years from now. So I told you guys it was a better news in the top of this when I started doing this. So intends to build a research station in the region of the moon's South Pole ahead of CSNA, or China's Space Network, on what do you call it, rather? What the heck is that? Said in a public statement, okay, that's a bit of a departure from 6 successful NASA Apollo moon landings, which took place closer to the moon's equator between 1969 and 1972, so they're planning on doing this in 10 years. Again, I think there's so much more going on, up there than meets the eye, and they're just going to be just another one just getting up there doing the same. And any of you guys heard anything else about the moon mission, the Chang 4, and also the other, the other one just recently? They had the other lander that was supposed to land and crashed. I don't know. I have my doubts about that too. I think they actually are um, I don't think it crashed at all. I think it actually landed there, and it just continued to do studies. Right? Stream of consciousness. I was just talking about the very same thing. Yep. Got about the one picture or two pictures tops, and that was the end of it. I think the aliens are mining the moon. Ian, is it them or us? I mean, I think it's at least them, right? I'm sure there's something on there like the helium-3. They're just trying to grab up these resources, and it's abundant on the moon. But also they're finding metals that are on the moon, or the moon's made of like a titanium. There's other metals there as well. So yeah, I mean, it may not just be one particular mineral or whatever the hell they're trying to grab off the moon, right? It may not be just the one thing. No, let's see what. Yeah, I've seen that before too. What is it? TR3B. I'm gonna go ahead and make the link available. Anyone know if there's an explanation? And basically, that was that weird space crab that was in these rocks. Kind of crazy. And you guys can see it there. Just go up a little bit on TR3B. It's got my Mars anomalies and beyond in orange. Just check that out. John Evans, appreciate the support, man. Really do. Hey, Chris, what's your take on the latest InSight recordings under Mars surface? Sounds like movement. I don't know if that was the one I've seen where I was talking about this earlier, where the seismometer it registered. First of all, it registered the wind itself, right? To me, it sounded like a Mars quake. It actually sounded like, because you hear it's kind of like sharp. It's not like just a gradual. This sounded like, and it, like it would literally, and then it was kind of a narrow area where it made the sound, and then it was either that, or I thought of this too. Perhaps it's lightning. And that's what we heard. Or that's what it picked up, because it's like here, man, on Earth. You get a good lightning bolt next to you, it'll rumble and rattle your whole house, right? How do we know? And a good thunder and lightning next to that thing is going to set it off anyway, right? Yeah. Little Gremlin, they disproved all of the tether UFOs on the Mythbusters channel. I have to see that, because I don't know how they can disprove that, because, I get it if they were all in front of the tether, meaning above it, because it was actually looking down, right? It had the tether and it had these things, if they were like, whatever it was, it could be, I don't care if it's space dust, they can call it that, we'll call it whatever they want. But when it's behind it, that's where it doesn't make any sense. And I don't know how they disprove that. I have to check that out. If you got a link for it, drop the link. I'd like to see that. Yeah, Noodles. Yep. China announces base intent. In fact, they say in about 10 years. I'm going to go ahead and drop this on you guys. You guys can check it out when you get a chance. That's the link right there. So you guys can check it out. Yeah. Rob Maxey 1. It's crappy that we can't tell about things we see and know about the military, but Hollywood can say all they want to if they call it fiction. And it's true, man. I mean, and it's weird that you mention that, because it's like, like when we see some of these anomalies on Mars, let's say it's a top view of it or whatever, if you've seen that particular shapes, like rectangular, multiple rectangular, linear kind of lines, all kinds of weird stuff. If you've seen it here on Earth in a satellite photo, you go, it's an ancient civilization. You see it on Mars. It's swamp gas. It's nothing. It's your pareidolia. It's crazy, man. Michael Hart, what's going on, Chris? What's going on, man? Good to see you in here. G-White 713. They had 12 miles of tether to let out before it broke. Then the ships buzzed it. Curious how long it was after it snapped. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why we're getting all these kind of different people saying different lengths. But again, even if it was 1 mile, 1 mile is pretty darn long when you're thinking about this thing just thrown out in space, right? Yeah. So regardless of how long it is, and if it's a lot longer than that, then and you see these, like you said, one of you guys said earlier, that it leaves some of these crafts about 3 miles in width or wide. I mean, that's pretty darn big craft, right? Uh no, I'm not sure of it. Chris, have you listened to David Adair? And if so, what do you think? What do you think about him? To be truthful, I never heard of him. If you got a link to his channel or whatever, just go ahead and drop it, and then I'll check it out. Exactly, yeah. GY 713, they were huge, and that's what they're saying. I mean, when I seen them things going under the tether, that's what got me sold on it. If they were all above it, I'd go, that could be anything, man. That could be, you know, it could be multiple lens flares. It could be anything. But when it's underneath it, that makes no sense. Eamon Barr, hey Chris, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Yeah, I'd like to check him out. Noodles, I see it says you put Dare has merit. I'd like to check out his channel. I don't think I've ever heard of him. Maybe I have, and I just the name or the name itself is just kind of throwing me. I'm not just it's not ringing a bell. They resemble the craft that you showed us on the moon and a few from Bruce's site. Huh. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. This, like I said, every time I see something different on the moon and on Mars, I'm just going, man, it just adds to more of the stuff we've seen, right? Just adds to it. Something else to add to the puzzle. Hmm. YT has many tether vids. Cool. Stream of consciousness. They reported a Mars quake on the radio a few days ago. Msss radio. Huh. Well, again, I'm not surprised. And I don't know if it was, like I said, it sounded like when you hear that recording, it almost sounds like almost like thunder as well. And they had this audio bite that it was on either space.com or NASA site. And when you hear it, it's just like it just blows your mind. Because it could be anything. They say it's wind. I guess it could be if it's windy enough. I think they said it was like 10 to 15 miles per hour. I guess. I guess they could set it off. I think the way that thing had more of a sharper sound to it, it sounds more like more of a thunder to me, or a Marsquake. Willies. I'll stop asking if it makes you nervous or something. So far, the last time, what is your first name? Name's Chris. Everybody's been saying hello, Chris. But yeah, first name's Chris here. GY17, his site is, okay, Bruce sees all on YouTube. He does live of the moon with UFOs. Yeah, what he does is record. It's not actually live per se, but either way, he does really good work on there because I enjoy seeing things on the moon and stuff like that. And he does some real crazy videos where it's up close, then, pull way back, so on and so forth. And I think that's where a lot of people, because it's our closest body to Earth, man, everybody just intrigued with the moon, right? I am. Brian Norton, sources were spinning around tether. Think craft aren't spinning different civilizations. I don't know. I mean, it's clearly not ours because first of all, they were disk. Now, that could be ours if we actually copied alien spacecraft, right? So, could very well be. So, yeah, I mean, to me, it's like when I seen all of those things. One thing, remember when the tether was first broken off and you can see like just maybe one little thing just fly by? Then all of a sudden there's like this group of them. So, were these things just like lurking around the planet or out in space and all of a sudden just decided to jump on this tether or just look around it? And they were definitely intrigued or whatever that thing was, whatever set all of those things off. It's hard to know exactly what it was because I wasn't there and couldn't be there. But crazy enough, it just seemed like just like one or two little things flew around it or under it, and all of a sudden there was just a ton of them. I don't know how many there were, but I'll guarantee there was at least 50 to 75 of these things flying around it. 1964 Sleepy Chris, did you spam edub 706015? I'd like to find out who this guy is. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's all about. Ricardo Torrado, great commentator and observer, signing off until next show. God bless. Well, sent right back at you, man. Good to see you in here. And guys, we're going to do the same thing. I went on here a little bit longer than I should have. But I just wanted to jump in there and definitely do this for you guys. Again, we're going to try to do this for 7 o'clock all the time now instead of 8. So 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'd rather do that so you guys can, there'd be more of you jumping on board and, get to hear the show and be able to talk back and forth with each other. And that's what it's all about, right? You guys keep saying it. Smash that like button, guys. Smash that like button. Let me see. Oh, shit. Zan 3119. I'll just do this real quick. Hey, Chris, I liked your informational video you did. Plan to do more in the future. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm going to try to get and dig a little bit deeper for you guys. Because listen, I mean, this stuff to me is just as interesting as it is to you, right? Because when you start unlocking all these secrets that they're trying to hide from us, God knows what they're talking about, right? But I remember a while back, and I'd love to be able to find this page because it was about like either some kind of space force they had back. This is, like I said, 8 to 10 years ago. I remember reading about this, and they talk about how they're guarding the Earth and just weird. And it was an actual site. This wasn't some kind of like weird, goofy little site. This was actually, it said military. And it was all like, if I can find it, it'd be great. I don't know if I can or not. He is causing problems. I don't know if is he 1964 rather, Sleepy. Is he, you say he's causing problems. Is he like spamming people's channels? He got his own? I mean, what's up with that? Yeah, I'm going to definitely check out David Adair. I'm not familiar with him. Like I said, if anybody's got a link to his regular channel, let me know. William John and bye, Chris. Keep on trucking. You do the same, man. I'm just gonna ease on out of here, and that's it. Got to do the same thing, man. Got to hit the sheets and get ready for tomorrow. All right, guys. You guys have yourself a great night. We got a Mars video coming up, so stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned. See, it's getting late. Stay tuned for that. And I got another. I think there's another request to do something about the moon, so I'm going to check that out too. Anybody who's left anything on my Facebook page, Mars Anomalies Facebook page, you'll notice that you cannot just post on the page. I usually get the messages, and I will get back and forth with you on there. There's no doubt. And I usually do, and I'll either you guys ask me, hey, can you check this out for me or whatever, and I'll check it out, and I'll give you guys my honest opinion about it. I've been known to do a lot of videos on stuff you guys put on there. So yeah, I mean, if you got anything you want to drop in there, just go to the my Mars Anomalies page there on Facebook. You can find it's pretty easy, and I'll check it out. So I've been a little bit behind there, so I'm going to check them out probably tomorrow and see what you guys get in there. Anyways, you guys have yourself a good night. Hold on. Okay. All right. Anyway, you guys have yourself a good night, and we'll see you in the next video. And everybody have yourself a safe night and a better day tomorrow.